Once upon a time in the flourishing kingdom of Elaria, there lived a wise and just ruler named King Alaric. Known for his fairness, the king was deeply respected by his people. Among his most trusted confidants were his three advisors: Cedric, a man of unshakable integrity; Darian, known for his cunning but inconsistent work ethic; and Lorien, a charming yet notoriously lazy individual. For years, the king relied on these advisors to help govern the land. However, recent events made King Alaric suspect that one among them was not as honest or diligent as he appeared. The king decided to put his advisors to the test in a manner that would reveal their true nature. Summoning them to the royal courtyard one morning, he handed each a large, empty sack. "Today," he declared, "you will prove your worth. I am sending you to different parts of the verdant woods, the lush forests that surround our kingdom. Your task is to fill these sacks with the finest fruits you can find. You have until sunset. Bring the sacks back here, and your efforts will not go unnoticed." Without explaining further, the king dismissed them, leaving the advisors puzzled but determined to complete their task. Cedric, the first advisor, set out with a sense of duty. He wandered deep into the forest, carefully inspecting each tree and bush for the ripest, freshest fruits. His hands grew sore from climbing, and sweat dripped from his brow as he filled his sack with an assortment of luscious apples, berries, and pears. Despite the toil, Cedric felt a sense of pride in his work, knowing he had given his best effort. Darian, on the other hand, approached the task differently. "The king won't have time to check whether the fruits are good or bad," he thought. "Why waste my energy?" Picking the easiest to reach fruits, he quickly filled his sack, not caring that many were overripe or rotten. Darian spent the rest of the day lounging under a tree, confident that his cleverness would go unnoticed. Lorien, the laziest of the three, scoffed at the idea of hard work. "Why should I waste time hunting for fruits when the king likely only cares about the weight of the sack?" he reasoned. Instead of gathering fruits, he filled his sack with dry leaves, twigs, and stones. Satisfied with his deception, he returned early, certain he had outsmarted the others. At sunset, the three advisors returned to the palace, each presenting their filled sacks to the king. Without inspecting their contents, King Alaric surprised them with an unexpected proclamation. "Guards, escort these men to the Moonspire Tower. They will be imprisoned for 30 days with no food provided. They must rely solely on the contents of their sacks for survival." The announcement shocked the advisors, but the king's orders were absolute. Locked in separate chambers of the tower, each man faced the consequences of his choices. Cedric, who had filled his sack with fresh, nourishing fruits, found himself well prepared. He ate comfortably each day, grateful for the hard work he had put in. By the end of the 30 days, Cedric emerged healthy and strong, his efforts having paid off. Darian, however, struggled. The rotten fruits he had carelessly gathered were barely edible, making him sick and weak. As the days dragged on, he regretted his decision to take shortcuts. His body could not endure the ordeal, and he succumbed before the 30 days were over. Lorien, who had filled his sack with dry leaves and stones, faced an even grimmer fate. With nothing to sustain him, he grew weaker by the day. Hunger and regret consumed him, and he passed away within the first week of imprisonment, cursing his laziness and dishonesty. When the ordeal was over, King Alaric summoned the surviving Cedric and addressed the court. This test was not merely about gathering fruits. It was about character, effort, and honesty. Cedric's diligence ensured his survival, proving his worth as a trusted advisor. The others chose laziness and deceit, and they paid the price. Let this be a lesson to all. Shortcuts and dishonesty may seem appealing in the moment, but they lead only to regret and failure. The story of King Alaric's test spread throughout Elaria, becoming a parable for generations. The people learned that today's actions directly shape tomorrow's outcomes. Hard work, sincerity, and integrity pave the way to success, while laziness and dishonesty only lead to ruin. From that day on, Cedric continued to serve the kingdom faithfully, his story inspiring others to embrace diligence and honesty in all their endeavors. Meanwhile, the memory of Darien and Lorien served as a cautionary tale, reminding everyone that the choices we make today determine the legacy we leave behind.